What is up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are having a great day out there. It is 9:30 a.m. in Seoul, South Korea. Do you know where your legal mindset is? It's right here on this channel. Good to see you guys. Obviously, it's a legal mindset where we teach you to be your own judge. And on this channel, I've always tried to say, look, I know other lawyers are out there, and they're going to say, oh, it's just about the court. We just have to pay attention to the trials. And if we just watch them really hard, magic will happen and things will change if we just pay attention to the courts. And I have always said that these lawyers are full of shit. They do not know what they are talking about. They have spent zero time in business. They've spent zero time outside of their little corner of the universe, of their little safe space. And they need to look at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture includes business. It includes corporate culture, social life, and pop culture, and politics. All of that comes together to influence the laws. The laws are a result of all of those other factors which are coming together to change the laws. The laws may change slower, but they do change if we let pop culture and politics go wild. So today, I'm actually really excited to have somebody on who I met at Anime Matsuri, the den of scum and villainy that was Houston last year in 2022. And that is Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers and CobraCast IRL.
What's going on? Look, I thought I was coming here to have a respectable discussion with a legal scholar, and I'm getting memed. I'm in the beanie. I've got the beard of shame on. If your chat's not members only, I'm leaving right now.
Okay? Oh no, okay. I'm sorry, Jeremy. I'm sorry, or should I say, Lofty Cobra? I'm so sorry.
Yes. Oh, but no, shout out on the thumbnail. It's fantastic. I loved it. When I saw that, I'm like, this is gonna be a fun show right here. When you know, like that's when you know you're dealing with two base individuals. When because me and Andrew really haven't spoken too much. We met at Anime Matsuri briefly.
But you were busy. You were like, I'm a big channel. I ain't got time for you. Who the fuck are you? Vic Mignogna interrupted you with his little tight white gay pants. Like he went and listen.
The tightest pants I've ever seen. The tightest pants I've ever seen. It was disturbing, but shout out to Vic. But yeah, so we haven't really talked to the. He's like, fuck it, I'm memeing this guy, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna get along just fine because memes are the internet. So yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for the invite, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
No, it's a pleasure to have you, and you and a lot of the guys over there, the Geeks and Gamers crew, the Friday Night Tights crew. A lot of us are on the same page. Like we're speaking the same language. Yep. We're covering the same issues, even if we haven't streamed together. Like I say, look, I agree with these guys on pretty much 99%. We'll always have the one or two issues where we disagree, but listen, I'm not the guy who starts beefing with people over one or two bad takes. Everyone's gonna have one or two bad takes. Maybe you liked a really horrible movie. Maybe you like Crystal Skull or something.
Not me.
Listen, some people have bad takes.
I do like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which is an objectively terrible movie, and I still like it. So yeah, there's only like 8 people on the planet, and I'm pretty sure most of them are out of me. There's me, and then the other 7 people that like it. They're triple vaxxed and boosted. So I'm not in good company right now. I'm not in good company with
there's a point at which movies like they go from the just cringe to The Room. Where it like becomes so bad that it's good. Like, yes. I don't know what that threshold is, but there's a point at which it jumps the shark and it goes to that other side.
I think it's always fine if it's okay to like bad movies as long as you're willing to admit they're bad. And what we have with a lot of the left-wing weirdos out there is that they think that if you dislike a movie that they like, that you're a horrible person. And it's like, no, it's okay if you like a bad movie, but don't say it's a great movie. Like I'll tell you, Mortal Kombat Annihilation is a bad movie that I like for nostalgia reasons because I was big into Mortal Kombat back then.
Right.
And I liked it. I know it's bad. I know it's cringy, but I think that's the standards. Like as long as you can take a step back and go, I like this movie, but I know it's bad, then we got no problems.
And you can laugh at it. Like when you see something that's really, really bad in the production, you can just take a shot every time, there's something that is, ridiculous. It can become like a drinking thing. It becomes something fun. Like
yes.
That's exactly what it should be. And the problem is, especially with these crazy leftists, they want to take the fun out of everything.
Yes.
Like the people that are having fun, what really drove me away from those people was that they just don't know how to laugh. They can't laugh at anything. Nothing can be funny to them anymore. They have to be miserable. They have to be angry. They have to be obsessed. And that's not how I'm going to live my life. It's like, sorry, fuck you. I'm doing exactly what I want to do. And I don't want to be part of that at all.
Never apologize. Never apologize. That's the thing. And by the way, I want to congratulate you. I know you hit 90,000 subs recently. So good job, sir. You're almost important enough to talk to Gary from Nerdrotic, but I have to go through 7 or different assistants now to get to what used to be my good friend, but he's just such a big deal now. It's like talking to Dan Vask. It's just, they're too important now.
I think, so at Matsuri, we shook hands, we introduced each other, right? So it's like different levels, right? So like, obviously at the lowest, peasant level, Ryan Kinnell came up and, fanboyed to me. He was simping for me hard. He was like, senpai noticed me. I'm like, okay, I get it. Chill, Ryan. I pat you on the head. I'll go over there, say something racist and bigoted. It's okay. I love you. And then, we had a regular conversation. And then up at the God tier, Gary just looked at me, nodded, and then continued to watch. Like he's like, I see you. I'm nodding in your direction. We're never going to talk this entire time.
Knowing Gary as well as I do, what I would imagine is that Gary looked over in your direction. He can't see at all. So he probably just saw something and he decided to nod. He didn't know who or what it was. So it might have seemed like he was this stoic figure, but in reality, he's so blind. He just didn't know what it was. So he just decided to nod. Dude, I'm not kidding. Gary's phone, the font on his phone, like it's literally the whole screen takes one letter. And I'm like, Gary, you are the blindest human being I've ever seen. It's awful. I don't know how he even gets from point A to point B every day.
The LASIK technology has advanced. He should really look into that. Like my doctor's like, we could do up to -20. I'm like, all right. Get in there, Gary, man. Jesus.
Oh man, it's a miracle Friday Night Tights even starts, much less it usually starts like 30 minutes late, but at least it starts. You guys have no idea. Like a lot of these people that hate us, they think we have this like super sophisticated like system in place, and it's like, guys, we sit there for 30 minutes sometimes in the backstage just waiting for Gary to figure shit out. We don't know what we're doing. We're just regular people that are lucky enough to have a few people watching us. That's essentially what it comes down to.
That's always how I felt. That's exactly how I felt, Jeremy. I know when I started this, I said, I'm going to feel fortunate. I set my goals, my long-term goals for like viewers and subs and everything. Then I realized subs is more of a vanity metric. But that aside, I said, look, I'll be happy if 100 people watch me on a regular basis. Now I'll get streams like this one. We're already at 400. We'll get to 500, 1,000, whatever else. I was at 2,000 with the Ricada yesterday. And, I'll have folks, listen, like just going through, saying so much in the chat. I can't even respond. That is beyond my wildest dreams, and I'm lucky to be that person. I'm very fortunate.
I agree completely. I mean, a lot of times on the internet, especially on Twitter, I'm a sarcastic asshole on Twitter because
no.
But it's like I am so
really.
Yeah, there you go.
We're gonna talk about this later. Hold on, let me put that away. We'll talk about.
Later. There's a lot to talk about on Twitter. Holy crap! But I am very like I have to pinch myself sometimes with just. I'm so thankful that anybody watches me. I really am, and I'm blown away by it. And it's crazy, man. It really is. So shout out to the chat, the MVPs as always.
So, okay, at Matsuri, you gave like a fucking Gettysburg Address of an intro. So against my own wishes, because we've got 443 people and not all of them were at Matsuri. Please give us the ultra
elevator pitch,
elevator pitch version of your introduction, Jeremy. Sweet Jesus, I will cut you off and ban you.
So one time, me and Ryan were on a podcast, and the owner that comes says, "Give me your elevator pitch about Geeks and Gamers." About 20 minutes later, Ryan's like, "That was the worst fucking elevator pitch I've ever seen." But in short, I'm Jeremy. I'm the creator of Geeks and Gamers. I have several YouTube channels. We have a website. We have full editorial stuff on the website. We have 10 YouTube channels, and we deal with pop culture. We deal with entertainment. We tend to call a lot of the things out that a lot of the other sites don't want to touch because they're focused on getting access from the powers that be, whereas we don't care about access. We just care about having our voices heard. And so it's been a wild ride all through it. And we cover movies, entertainment. We have a sports channel, Sports Wars, with over 100,000 subscribers. Our Geeks and Gamers channel is our flagship channel. We have channels that cover everything, theme parks, reality TV, kind of a wide range, but I'm very proud of what we have. And recently I've been kind of working on my personal channel, D-Day Cobra, and that's been going really well. And I really just got here because entertainment became so shitty. I created Geeks and Gamers back in 2011 as a video game tournament, and it evolved over time into what it is now, which is something that we criticize Star Wars for being really bad when a lot of other people wouldn't. And that kind of opened the doors to me seeing more about how Hollywood was being ruined by political ideologies and how fans were being alienated based on who they voted for. And because of that, because of me calling that out and others calling that out, we've finally gotten a following through all of this, and it's been a great ride. And the biggest thing I probably ever did was vocally told everyone I was a Trump supporter. That was back in 2017.
I will tell you, Jeremy, as someone who worked inside a corporation, I was corporate counsel, and I've represented large ones. I can say, and I've represented Universal at one point, Universal Studios. And, I've seen how literally I've been on private emails with people who thought I was a Democrat. Right? They thought I was a card-carrying Democrat, and they say, "Oh my God, I just found out this guy voted for Trump. Can you believe it?" And they would go through steps to isolate these people within organizations simply because of political belief, not because of their competence. Because oftentimes these people were highly competent people, highly capable people, highly intelligent people, but because of their political beliefs. Within a corporation, they're isolated, they're pushed out. Sometimes they are fired. Now, I haven't, I don't always see the exact email, but it's a hell of a coincidence when the guy who they discovered as a Trump supporter is out 6 months later or a year later. Or let's say the company does a restructuring and they just happen to be the one that's cut from the department, right? That was happening. And that's something you said at Mitsuri that really resonated with me, because that's really why I got on YouTube. Because this point at which people's political beliefs were now being used as a basis for termination, for cancellation, for deplatforming, I was like, there's a fucking line, and this is it. And like, we gotta say something. Like, I don't give a fuck about your political beliefs, but I care about people taking action to actively discriminate against people based on their political beliefs.
Well, so you said it best right there. You said that people are like, oh, they thought I was this, and then they find out, and then there starts whispers, this guy's a Trump supporter. That is exactly what led me on the path that I'm on, because I've always been a Trump guy. As far as back to when he announced in 2015.
When you say you're a Trump guy, let me just caveat that, because there's different levels of Trump guy, right? There's guys who say Trump can do no wrong. He is the God Emperor of mankind. Like he's sitting on the golden throne in 40K. I mean, this is the guy, right? There's people say, okay, Trump is great, but he has some flaws, right? He's a human being who has some human flaws. And then people say, hey, Trump is just better than Biden. Right. So there's those, I think those are the main three levels of Trump people. Where are you at on that spectrum?
I think I'm probably fall in between God Emperor Trump and that Trump is great with flaws. I think he has flaws. I've criticized Trump. I criticized Trump and his stupid take on video games years ago. I made a video on Geeks and Gamers and I titled it, and all the Trump people that hate Trump still got mad at me because I said Donald Trump made the biggest mistake of his presidency, and my reasoning was because he went after video games, and I felt like more conservatives were into the gaming aspect. He blamed violence on video games, essentially. And the TDS people, they go, this racist bigot thinks the worst thing Trump ever did was talk bad about video games. Never mind all of the racism and the sex. So they were still mad, even though I was criticizing him.
You can't please these people. You cannot please these people at all.
I am a MAGA waving, flag waving Trump lover. I love Trump. I will call him out. His vaccine salesman bullshit. He needs to shut that shit up. It's been horrible for him. He's finally backed off of that. Yep. I think Trump's flaws are actually some of the best aspects of him, because every politician, I heard Ben Shapiro say this years ago, and he said it because I don't know if you remember years ago, this before the 2020 election and before the primaries and everything, but Oprah was talking. There were some rumbles that Oprah might run for the Democrat side, because there was like a 2-week period where that happened, and all the media was celebrating her. And Ben Shapiro said this best, and I don't like Ben Shapiro, but he said this best.
Ben Shapiro has some good takes, but a lot of bad takes.
So where's my MAGA hat? It's literally my MAGA hat is right. There on the Master Chief right there.
Oh shit! I see it. Yeah.
It's signed by 45. It's signed by 45 personally. But so Shapiro said, right now Oprah Winfrey is she's a perfect individual in the minds of the people that want her to run. She's standing there in a perfect white dress. She's flawless. And the moment you enter politics, mud starts flying. And if you're wearing a perfect white dress and it's pristine and a little bit of mud gets on it, starts to look dirty. He says Donald Trump is built of mud. So you can throw all the mud you want at him. It's not going to affect him at all.
Yes.
And his flaws are why he is so relatable to so many people, because we are all flawed individuals. Nobody that's watching this channel, nobody on this panel, no single person is perfect. And the more you project you're perfect, the more that you become a fake. Trump owns it. Trump's like, I love McDonald's. I like hot women. I'm a millionaire. I'm a billionaire. And we're like, yeah, you are, you know, and so those flaws work. But so
once again, think about those things you just named. It's like, I like McDonald's. So do billions of people around the world. Literally, I was in Korea. Guess what I had for breakfast? Fucking McDonald's. I went and had a bacon egg McMuffin this fucking morning in Korea. Outside of Shanghai wrap, those things are fire. It's only on the Korean menu, but which is funny. Shanghai wrap isn't on the Chinese menu. Hey, who knows? But anyways. You know, but seriously, like that and hot women. Okay, who's objecting to that? Oh, like what was it? The SJWs? Get the fuck out of here, right? That's the reason why people are coming over here to Asia. You know, because they're like, listen, we want hot women who don't have the BMI of a fucking gray whale. You know, like we're not looking for that. That's not what most guys want when they're looking for a woman, right? And so that's why people look at Trump and are like, yeah, I see. Like, what the fuck is the problem with Trump? Like, there's not. I mean, you can pick apart different things he's done wrong. Like I think some of his even Supreme Court confirmations, some of the judges he picked, yeah, they're okay, but they're not the best, right?
And they kind of bit him in his ass a little bit there too, a couple times.
They did. His cabinet also bit him in the ass, right? You know, so it's like his decision making, you know, kind of questionable. But that being said, look at what we've got with Biden in a complete utter failure, a geriatric who's literally shuffling, you know, across the floor right now as he's guided by Schumer from place to place.
Right. It's embarrassing.
It does. And by the way, people are laughing at us. I live abroad. You know, I'm in multiple countries. I was just in Japan 3 days ago. In Thailand, Korea. We're becoming a laughing stock internationally. People thought that Trump was bad for us. Trump was one of the best things for us internationally because people actually respected and to be a certain extent feared us. That was something we hadn't had in a long time. Was people saying, hey, we have an actual fear of America. Nobody is fucking afraid of Biden. Are you kidding me?
No, it's Weekend at Bernie's. And it's not even, that's not even a meme. Like that's essentially what we have. They prop this guy up and we don't have pride in our country. No. And the you know, the powers around the world don't have respect for us. They're walking all over us. Back to so let me tell this. So with the Trump thing. So back to your point about it was, I created Geeks and Gamers. It was not doing as well as I wanted to back in the 2016, 2017 era. And we weren't really going anywhere. The YouTube channel had less than 1,000 subscribers. We had a Facebook group. It wasn't really making money or anything like that. And I wanted to change something. I was getting frustrated with the political climate, and Ghostbusters 2016 had come out and that was terrible. And I saw a lot of things going on, but I wasn't calling it out. And I was not a public Trump supporter, but I kept seeing people on the internet whispering every time they would think that, hey, this guy that runs this company is a Trump supporter. We have to cancel him. You know, we have to out him as a Trump supporter. Essentially, that's the new gay at this point. Oh, that guy's a Trump supporter. We have to out him. It's the new gay. It's like, oh, he's gay. We have to out him. Which is
hilarious, the inversion, right? Like literally Trump supporters face more discrimination in 2023 than LGBT community ever does. Right?
Not even close. Not even close. So I kind of got to a point where I said, well, look, as I grow Geeks and Gamers into whatever it's going to be, I don't ever want to be in a position to have an audience that's going to be so pathetic and weak that they would abandon me if they find out I'm a Trump supporter. So if if people are going to weaponize political opinions, I'm just going to whip it out and flop it on the table so the world can see it. So yeah, I'm a Trump supporter. What are you going to do about it? So that was me battling because I didn't ever think my politics were important enough to talk about because
it is
ultimately
now.
I know. Unfortunately, we're in that world now because these leftist freaks have decided that everybody's politics and defining on them is important. So that's why I decided I'm going to tell the world I'm a Trump supporter and I'm never going to apologize for it. And the more that people get mad about it, the more I'm going to show how proud I am to support, in my opinion, the greatest president of my lifetime. So that's kind of the path that led me here.
Yeah, no, and honestly, like that's exactly what I think in terms of like your opinions. I think, you know, I was afraid at first when I first started creating content. I was like, I'm just going to do pure legal content.
Yeah.
And then I just had this epiphany. I was like, you have to have an opinion, because if people come out and they have an issue with it, you're dividing it. I want the people that either respect my opinion and agree with it, or are open-minded to listen. If they won't listen to my opinion, I don't want to talk to those people. Fuck those people. Those aren't my audience. They're not my audience. I don't want them. Other people, even including other lawyers, they try to be very careful and tiptoe around the issues and play both sides of the aisle. I don't play that game. There's a right answer objectively, and there's a wrong answer objectively.
Yep, 100%.
And I'm there with you, particularly when we get into the law, what the Constitution says, and whatever else. But speaking of what people say, I got a couple super chats I'll catch here. Okay. Dragon's Treasure says, trying to do the same with both anime and tea, simultaneously build something better and destroy your enemies. Happy birthday once again. I was on your stream the other day, so happy birthday, Dragon's Treasure. Keep creating good content and good tea. You're going to have a lot of success in that world. Anime is only blowing up as the Western cartoons suck.
It is.
CJ says the snake pit has slithered its way here. Absolutely. We're letting all the Cobras in.
Hey, bring them on. But not snake least, pit, rise up.
Some loser who I don't know. I don't even know where he was at the Matsuri table. I think they put him at the end along with the trash can. That was Drunk 3PO. Jeremy has done multiple podcasts today. Please ask him why he won't appear on mine. Well, that's because you need to come on mine first. 3PO. And that's the vetting process for Jeremy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I at least want to have at least 13 to 14 people that watch streams before I'm going to appear on them. So Jay, you got to get those numbers up, buddy. Okay. You got to get those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. So when you become, a little more relevant, Jay, you can give me a call, or at least give my assistant a call. I'll let you know.
You know what? Tell Gina to call us. Tell Gina to call us. That'll help. If Gina gives you a good word, maybe we'll think about it. Right.
I got to give my boy Jay a shout out though, man. He's just hit 50 over. I think he's at 55 now, 55,000 on his Indiegogo campaign. He's been crushing it. I'm really proud of him. Jay is awesome. We meme on him all the time. He's such a meme. He is a living meme, but he's also genuinely a good dude, man. So I love that guy.
Yeah, appreciate him. Dermy Wormy says, hell yeah, two of the guys that taught me to just do it on stream together. Happy late birthday, old man.
Hey, thank you. It was my birthday yesterday. So I'm getting old. So I only got a few more years left to grift away. So I'm going to try my best.
You got to do it while you can do it. I mean, you're Gen X, right, Jeremy? You're Gen X?
I'm 44. So
yeah, I think that's Gen X.
I don't even know. Yeah. I don't know. I hang out with Gary enough that I might be one at this point.
Oh no, just don't get this bad. They've already memed him in my chat, immediately. Poor Gary. And then of course, they already memed the shit out of Ryan.
Ryan, of course, Ryan.
It's too easy.
So it is Gen X. Am I Gen X at 44? Okay. I don't know the breakdown. So.
Oh, here's the breakdown. So it's like, I think the early 80s cuts over to millennial. So like 81, 82 cuts over to millennial. Okay. And then millennial's fucking massive. It's from like the early 80s all the way to like the late 90s. So like 96, 97.
So I'm 79 is when I was born. So yeah, March 79.
I'm 86, but I mean, I find like a lot of the people I relate to, especially nowadays, I end up talking to a lot of Gen X guys because they kind of understood the world before the internet.
Yes.
It's like this mythical thing that like I can talk to them about, and I have fond memories of my childhood, and they were teenagers or in college or whatever. So like we can relate to that. The kids don't understand this shit. They don't understand the before and after, and even before social media. It's a big thing. Holy shit! Low watermark with
low watermark. My boy.
To see Jeremy here. Awesome. Appreciate you, brother.
Low watermark is awesome.
I don't know if you guys do this, but I sometimes will take a shot over anything.
I have never had a sip of alcohol in my life.
Really? So. That's good for you. Well, you're not an attorney. This is actually what we do best. So
I can do a swig of water though. Swig of water.
This is good soju. It's actually pretty clear. And I got my water over here. So
there you go. Shout out to low watermark.
Appreciate you, brother. All right. So let's see. We got Mr. Esquire says Jay is awesome, but looks secretly married. Also happy belated. Jeremy and Tim Pool with the same B-Day. No, are you fucking with me? Do you really have the same birthday as Tim Pool?
I'm assuming so. Big Mike, look at Big Mike's profile picture, by the way. Big Mike, Big Mike's shit. You getting some of the Cobra, the snake pits in here now. So,
I love it. I love it. I fucking love it. Oh God, it's great.
Do I seriously have the same birthday as Tim Pool? That's pretty.
I gotta
pretty
look
funny,
that up.
so.
Like, when is Tim Pool's birthday? Hold on, like Tim Pool's birthday.
Mine's the 8th. Mine is the 8th. So yesterday,
March 9th he's
so 1 day apart. 1 day
Oh,
apart.
Tim Pool was born my year too. So he's an 86 guy too. Tim Pool is like a couple months older than me. So,
wow.
Yeah,
wow.
he looks old as fuck. So actually, let me transition here because I really want to know the reason. So I like, since you've been doing CobraCast IRL, our audience has like immediately overlapped. Like, and this has been one of the biggest things. So I just want to know what gave you, like, was it Eliza Blue that gave you the idea to do CobraCast IRL?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you go into the thought process?
Yeah, so so the whole Eliza Blue thing was much like, so I got caught up in the Jack Murphy stuff as well. So
Wait,
Jack Murphy
blocked me. Please be specific. Okay, just for blocking
the content, the grifting, okay off of Jack Murphy being being an interesting topic.
You were not on chat roulette with him. You were not 69ing for 69.
There was no 69 for 69. So I covered that a lot. So for some reason, I have nothing against Tim Pool. I like Tim Pool in terms of, I respect what he's done. This has become a meme where I say I respect Tim Pool, because I do respect Tim Pool. I do. I don't really like his content, but I like his show. I don't like him, but I like his show. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think he puts on a good show. He's good at what he does. I don't like his fence riding at all. And but the Jack Murphy stuff, when that thing broke, I covered it a lot on my channel. I didn't do as good as the quartering, but I did okay from my perspective. Got a lot of views. We all
grifted off that one. Let me just be honest. We were all riding the beard for a while.
And my big issue with that was that Tim would just never address it, like, at all. And it's like, bro, he was on your show consistently, grifting off your audience. No hate.
Number one.
It is.
Number one guest. Number one.
Yes, and so the fact that he just never acknowledged it bothered me. So I kind of went in on Tim after that a little bit and kind of had some fun with it until it just became a thing or whatever. Okay, moved on. Then the Eliza Blue thing happened. Now, I have talked a little bit. I know you've talked a little bit about this topic too, and you probably have a lot more insight than I do. But the Andrew Tate situation, I've followed a little bit of the Andrew Tate stuff, and I'm very skeptical of a lot of this stuff based on what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. And it all goes back to the fact that he got banned from social media, and they never gave a reason why. And I didn't know who he was when that happened. But she was on Tim Pool.
Hold on. When he got banned by social media, you did not know. You had never heard about.
I didn't know Andrew Tate until he got banned. That's when I learned who he was, and then I realized, like, well, who is this guy? And it made me interested. So I saw like some of his hot takes. I'm like, ooh, this guy, yeah, he really is a misogynist. But then I looked more into his longer form stuff, and I'm like, no, he's not actually. This guy's pretty fucking knows his stuff. He's obviously putting the gimmick on and the manosphere shit, but he's really intelligent. And so anyway.
It's kayfabe. You know, if you ever heard of like kayfabe, it's sort of kayfabe. He knows what he's doing to get the clip. He knows to generate the clip, and then he gets you the long form content, and then sell you, right? And then people can argue on the ethics of selling people stuff, right? That's a capitalism argument, right? Is money bad or good? Is there value in something? We can get into that argument, but I mean, he was doing it with a method in mind, and his whole goal was to be famous. He's always expressed that his goal was to be famous, and he accomplished that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so so then Eliza Blue, who was someone I had known about in terms of I'd seen her on Twitter, obviously her and Elon's interactions. She was always kind of in my feed on Twitter, but I didn't know who she was. I saw people praising her for her brave stances and all this bullshit. Like, all right, cool. Maybe she's some whatever. A lot of conservatives, a lot of right-leaning people were always praising her. It didn't matter to me.
She was on everybody's channel. I'm surprised she wasn't on fucking Geeks and Gamers and on Friday Night Types or something. I mean,
she was everywhere, but I had never spoken with her. And then she went on Tim Pool one night, and she got absolutely annihilated in his chat when she brought up the Andrew Tate stuff, because she was basically saying that she's spoken with the victims and their survivors, and the chat was like, what the fuck? And then Tim called her out on it, and she goes, I believe all the survivors. And it just felt really left-wing, Me Too bullshit. So that is literally quintessentially believe all women. I mean, it is
100% believe all women. And the reason why she has to have that take was exposed, because her story is illegit. So if she doesn't keep that party line of believe all survivors, then her own story is subject to being questioned, which is what happened.
Right. And so I'm watching all this unfold, and then Tim, his whole chat was getting hijacked from people wanting him to talk about the Eliza Blue thing, and he ignored it. Then he pulled the whole, well, we were going to have the quartering on to talk about it, but he no-showed, so we can't talk about it. I'm like, when the fuck have you ever canceled topics because a guest couldn't show up? That is bullshit. You are lying your ass off. Then he pulled the whole, we're sending our investigative reporter out to talk about it. But then the clips came of Shane Cashman talking with Eliza on the show, and he's like, I love you, Eliza, I respect you. And I'm like, this isn't an investigative reporter, this is a fanboy. And so then I kept covering it on my channel because it kept getting worse and worse. And then it got to a point where I don't remember specifically what happened, but one night I was like, I think I should just do CobraCast IRL as a fucking meme, just a one-off, just CobraCast IRL. I'm gonna put then one of my followers memed me with the Tim Pool thing with the Jack Murphy beard. I'm like, that's a fucking great thumbnail.
Golden. And, it's a golden thumbnail, like right so in the middle. It's everything. So it's Tim Pool, it's the Murphy, and it just and people now know, like, you don't even need to know Murphy anymore. If you see the skunk beard, you know what's up. Like, you immediately know what's going on here.
Yes. And so a couple of things were going on at that time. So when I first started Geeks and Gamers, I was the solo person on there, and I did solo live streams, and that's how I built my fan base, and we built the audience. And as the channel grew, I've moved Geeks and Gamers into more of what my bigger vision was, which was not to be Jeremy centric, to be about the team. And through that process over the last couple of years, I feel that I've lost a lot of my personality and my fan base as an individual, and to more build the overall brand, which is always what I wanted to do. But people like Jay, and I'm going to give him credit, Drunk 3PO, he would always tell me, he's like, Jeremy, man, when I followed you in the beginning, you used to annihilate people on Twitter. You used to go live and roast them. And he's, I miss that version of you. I'm like, I know, man, but like, I'm kind of in a different space in terms of like wanting to build the name and everything. But when this CobraCast thing happened and the response, like, I had like 2,000 people watching that first stream, and people just went crazy, and the memes were rolling in, and the gimmicks were rolling in. And I was feeling that old school kind of 2019 Jeremy mentality. And I saw the response from people, and it's like, guys, do you want me to do this like again? And they were like, yes, please do it again. Do it tomorrow. I'm like, okay. I mean, yeah, I guess I could try to do it one more time. And then I did it again, and 3,000 people showed up. Now, at that time, I was picking up off the Tim Pool stuff because he had shut it down to members chat only. So I was really leaning in. I'm like, you don't have to come to my chat and pay money. You can chat for free, and you can talk shit about me, and just all that. And so now it's kind of leveling out, and we're pulling good numbers. And we've got new artwork, and it's a thing. Like, CobraCast is a thing. I probably will drop the IRL at some point because I feel like it's just way too on the nose. But at the same time, maybe I won't, because fuck you, Tim Pool. So I don't know. So anyway, so it's kind of moving beyond the Tim Pool stuff now, and it's its own show, and it's becoming its own thing. But the audience made that show, and I'm really appreciative of that. So it's been a blast. It really has. It's been a blast.
I mean, if you need an alternative thumbnail, you know, if that ever gets tired, I think the memers have already come up with a great one right here. You've got a solid alternative right here.
Canadian bear. Oh, God. Oh, man.
Oh, by the way, Ari says you have the exact same birthday as me. Happy birthday.
Nice. So now, I don't know if it's the 8th or the 9th you were thinking, but mine's the 8th. So
yeah, his is the 8th
and 9th. So yeah.
But either way, Ari is a fantastic woman. I am glad, by the way, that you found a modicum of happiness out there. Appreciate you, Ari, and everything you do supporting the channel. Jeremy Wormy says, honestly, my birthday is Saturday, the big 26. I'm still a child compared to y'all. Man, 26 is still a great time. So do not fret at all about 26. A lot of good stuff can happen then.
Absolutely.
And you've got time, man. You've got time to build stuff. If I went back, knowing what I know now, you know, it would be absolutely over.
Well, I've talked about that a little bit. I don't want to go too far into it because I know you got other topics. But so like me, I'm in my 40s now, and I worked retail for 15 years. I was in, grocery stores. I was in management. I did all that. If I would have gotten to where I am at 21 or 22, I'm not sure I would have been able to handle it or appreciate it for that nature. And I know we see a lot of TikTokers and young YouTubers that they get stressed out because they haven't had a day off of streaming video games. It's like, shut the fuck up. You have never worked a real job in your life. So working through the real jobs and going through real trials and tribulations over the years, and then you at a little bit older age, you actually see that success, you appreciate it more, and you're kind of tested and battle tested, I guess. So I'm happy that I didn't get success sooner, and I'm glad it took a long time, because I lost money from 2011 when I created Geeks and Gamers to 2017. I never made a dime. I only lost money, and I thought giving it up until luckily 2018 rolled around, and The Last Jedi became a pile of shit, and I made
made everybody a lot of money, right? Because it was such a pile of shit, and they were trying to gas us up. They were literally trying to gaslight the audience into believing that this pile of shit was gold, and people were just like, no, this was obvious shit. This was people that even were willing to give the sequels a chance. We're willing to say, you know what? I'm going to put all that aside. I'm going to pretend it's not political. I'll give it a chance. The Last Jedi was the 2 shots on the back of the head behind the barn. Between General Admiral Karen and Manatee Titty. I mean, it was just like, all right, I'm 100% out. For me, it was the Manatee Titty. As soon as we hit Blue Milk, I was like, all right, you've screwed over literally the #1 piece of merchandise. The guy who sells the merchandise, it's the Lukes and the Han Solos. You killed Han, you got rid of Luke. Where's the merch? And nobody's buying those Rose Ticos. They're not. It was
such a tough thing for me to deal with, because I was a big prequel defender through the years. So the prequels got a lot of hate, and I was always a prequel defender, and I was always defending George, defending Star Wars. I was a big fan of The Force Awakens. And so whenever Last Jedi got there, I was just completely confused, because I forced myself to not hate that movie at first. And I was like, no, man, no. And I would talk to my friends, and they're like, you realize you're criticizing it. You don't like it. No, man, I love this movie. I'm a big fan. And it took me several viewings to finally come to grips with it, but it's just like something hit me. I'm like, this movie's fucking terrible.
It's hard for Star Wars fans. And look, listen, I was there, Jeremy. I had the Star Wars ship encyclopedia. I built them. So before they made sets for the pre-built sets, out of my own random Legos, I built an X-Wing. I had, I think, a B-Wing and a TIE fighter that I just built myself out of fucking regular Legos. I loved Star Wars. But they just shot it in the fucking foot. I mean, that series could have printed money forever. It's a
layup.
It is such a layup. You don't even have, and they managed to fuck that up. Are you kidding me? That's the easiest thing not to fuck up, and they fucked it up. Just copy stuff they have already created, that writers have already created. Just do those stories.
Yes. And I mean, just the other day, one of the Minority Hope was here at G&G HQ, and she turned on one of the I think Revenge of the Sith. And I have not watched the Star Wars movie in a long time. And I started watching it, and I'm like, God damn, I miss good Star Wars, man. Oh my God. How did Disney screw this up? It's such an easy scenario, and they have completely butchered it. And it's impressive, I guess, that they've messed it up this bad, because holy shit, man. This was the easiest thing in the world, and they've just completely botched it forever.
Yeah. I mean, it's done. I mean, you can't kind of put the genie back in the bottle unless they do some sort of, which I know some people were speculating about. My personal opinion is it'll never happen. They'll never do the time warp where all of that was fake and, that's all made non-canon. I don't think they're going to do that.
Somebody asked me, they were like, what can happen? What can get you back to believing in Star Wars? And I'm like, it won't happen, so there's no point to say it. They're like, say it. Right. I'm like, I want Kathleen Kennedy publicly fired. Yes. I want her shamed and fired, just like they did Gina. I want them to publicly fire and shame her. And then I want a restraining order put against her, that she can't go within 500 miles of a Star Wars production unless Donald J. Trump signs off to approve her going within 500 miles of a Star Wars production. If that happens, that's the only thing. So no, it won't happen, but that's the only thing. Show me that you understand the severity that this woman has done. And so that's it. And Trump has to be the guy Trump
no
has
way
to sign off.
I was saying this with Valiant the other day when we were talking. There's no way she goes out on anything but a giant golden parachute with a huge celebratory cupcake, or the cupcake
happen.
party.
Yes,
that's the only way. That's the only way it's going to happen. And I'm a realist, who's worked in these organizations and knows how it happens. Even if she fucks up, they'll put her out on a golden parachute in a party.
Because she's a woman and she's a powerful woman in Hollywood. There's no way they're going to let her walk away with any shame. They can't do it.
She will not be frog marched out. That's not happening.
She knows where the bodies are buried. They're not going to shame her. It's never going to happen.
And she knows what's above the table, and she's been under the table, if you know what I mean.
She's been under the table a lot.
Yeah. B Buster says mine's today 66. I got B. Hey, congratulations, B Buster. Happy birthday, brother.
But B Buster, you can still see good enough to super chat, so Gary can't. So.
All right. Daniel Bedlinger says 49 rotations for me today. Happy birthday, Joe. Hey, congratulations. Happy birthday, Daniel. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Y'all old bastards in the chat today. The ODBs. We got any kids in the no, not kids. We got any people under 40 in the chat today? Darren Bennett says, I'm 56 years old, 39-1967. Woohoo! Still going strong. Happy birthday, Jeremy. D-Day Cobra. Go Cobra.
Thank you.
Got a lot of love in the chat today. Oh, Tank Rat says here, I quit watching Star Wars when they announced going off canon. Though I did watch Han Solo and realized my mistake that woke would not enter the movie. Yeah, anybody who thought, hey, there's going to be a one-off, there's going to be one movie where there's zero woke, not happening.
Yeah. It's done. I mean, again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Wokeness is a disease. If you don't cut it out, it will spread and it will ultimately destroy. It's just like anything else. So if a disease takes over a healthy body, it will take time to make any significant impact. So you need to address it before it can make significant impact. Star Wars got a disease, and instead of cutting that disease out, they embraced the disease. It's everywhere now. So it's over. It's not
You get
happening.
some cancer, and you get some cancer, and you get some cancer.
That's exactly it.
It's fucking crazy. Over here on Rumble, real quick, I got a rant which says, I know you grifters. Oh, no, sorry. I'll start on here. I usually do not do this, but I will make an exception this one time. Jeremy, please do not put your flaws onto my perfect self. I know you grifters can never believe anyone is better than you, but just like Anna Crazy from TYT, I'm fucking better than you.
Okay, you're the one perfect person. I apologize. Yes. But yes, thank you for the Rumble rant. Shout out to Rumble. I'm loving
Appreciate
Rumble.
Y'all.
They're doing big
great
stuff over there. It's an opportunity, especially with the Crowder news and everything like that, man. And Ricada's been just doing amazing stuff over there. And
they communicate. They communicate.
Yes.
That's my issue with YouTube is they don't fucking communicate. We're not like piddly ass creators here. We're significant creators. In fact, some of the most significant creators, talk about Nick Ricada. He's one of the top super chat earners in the entire United States. Right. Yep. And top earners on YouTube in the entire United States. And they treat him like he's a fucking nobody. They treat him like he's insignificant, like he's a piece of shit. I mean, the treatment that they give even their best people is ridiculous versus on Rumble, where I'm not that big on Rumble, but I'm talking to the vice president. I'm talking to the staff. They're working with me on things. They're getting me ad deals. They're doing, they're saying, hey, you can do this way. They're giving me more streaming slots. That's entirely different. Also locals. Shout out to the locals community. They're also affiliated with Rumble. They're fantastic and work with you. And that's the difference between people who actually care about business and places like YouTube that don't. I will say, what do you think about Twitter under Elon?
So I've been kind of hit and miss on that, and I think the Eliza Blue thing. And look, it is hard to understand if that was even on his radar or not. It is. Yeah. I mean, he did have some interactions with her. I do think that there were some stories out there that were not true, that I didn't believe were true anyway, with the whole free Tesla and all of that. I think that's kind of been confirmed that never actually happened. But he clearly was friendly with her. And Elon is smart enough to understand when he interacts with anyone consistently, you are putting them in a different stratosphere. And he put her in a different stratosphere with this consistent interactions with her. So that put a certain perception out there. And there were some problems with a person that was directly connected to Elon's Twitter that was seemingly false copyright claiming or false flagging different Twitter accounts for using publicly available images. Now, that is an isolated thing within our world, and we're talking about the richest man in the world. He kind of has a lot going on, so he's so plugged into Twitter, though, it's hard to imagine that he was not aware of that. You know what I mean? Like, this guy, I see this guy commenting on everything. Outside of that, look, man, Elon, he he says he's a free speech absolutist. That is not true at all.
No, that's not true. That is not true. Yes.
It's not true. And I understand that there is a certain line that if, you know, like, look what's happened to Trump, dude. Like there, I guess there's this new story now where there's an indictment. I get about they've been trying to indict this man for as long as he's been in politics.
Before he was elected, they were coming for him. They were going with the Russiagate. What came of that, motherfuckers?
Nothing. And so Elon is kind of in that same boat where, I mean, if you make enough powerful enemies, no matter who you are, they can make your life hell. So there had to be some concessions, and I understand that. Overall, I think it's a huge net positive from where we were under Jack Dorsey in terms of, look what he's just did with this January 6th stuff and signal boosting that. You know what I mean? Like, that is a monumental thing. Did you see the Stephen voiceover thing?
Just drop this. Oh, yeah. Actually, so my chat hasn't seen that. So I just want to.
Oh, my God.
I want to play that real quick for you guys, because I realize we can actually play this without getting banned.
Yes.
So
yes.
This is
let me
prep
safe. Let me prep it for everybody. So Chuck Schumer went on Twitter the other day whining about J6 and Trump's big lies and, you know, all of this stuff. He made this passionate tweet about how this is so dangerous. And Elon did a quote tweet response to Chuck Schumer. He's like, "Would you like me to delete this?" And this is what he shared. It's the greatest troll I've seen in the longest time. Shout out to Stephen, though. This is beautiful.
This is exactly the type of parody you need. And this is what people whine about and say, "Oh, they're trolling us." Trolling you with 100% facts. Watch this, guys. This is actually, let me make sure, because I think I'm boomering this one real quick. Let me make sure I got audio, because this is an audio necessary.
Oh yeah, 100%
clip here. But here we go.
It's funny. There we go.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the U.S. Capitol building. If you've joined us today for the insurrection, please make sure you pick up a promotional leaflet on the way in. Stay inside the safety court.
Literally, entirely inside the bounds of the court. And they're not up here toppling statues. They're not dropping cameras. They're not riding the chandelier. They're fucking walking down the center lane.
Problems at all times. And if you get lost, speak to one of our Capitol police officers.
These are police officers right here. just like chit-chatting with them. They're just hanging out. This is not combat. Nobody's fighting these guys or punching. They're just fucking chilling.
It's so good.
To point you in the right direction.
Anyways.
And be sure to set aside a little time today to join us for some insurrection activities, including our photography tour, our fancy dress
once again, cops are right here. Just standing.
Petition and have a go on our climbing wall. But don't forget those safety ropes.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you saw the one of the cop that kind of like pushed the guy over. That one was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And I've now received the results of our fancy dress competition. The winner today is Jacob Chansley. That's Mr. Jacob Chansley.
That is the shaman. This is the shaman right here. His reputation just entirely, like, his role in all of this, you know, becoming a meme makes it even worse. Yes. Especially since the cases were pressed against him, right? He was like key and center to that. Doxing him was so important, right? Because he was this central leader that was there burning everything down. This whole building
they
is
made him
on fire.
And they made him the face of this, and now their entire argument is gone. It's over.
Because they did that. Because they did that, you know?
Yes.
Watch this.
If you could report to your nearest Capitol police officer, they'll be sure to give you your prize. A guided tour of the building.
Right here. Look at this guy. He's fucking walking with him. He's not arresting him. Clearly, if he was doing anything wrong, that police officer who has him isolated could just arrest him.
Yep.
There's nothing stopping this officer from arresting him if he sees any probable cause. The fact that he doesn't, it puts a massive presumption of innocence on this dude. And look at this. He's got two cops following him.
Two.
So you got four sets of eyes on this guy. Two sets of eyes. My counting is I don't know, it's off. I'm not look, I live in Asia, but I don't got those Asian math skills. I'm just saying. You know, they got all these people watching him, and they still don't arrest him.
This is for me to thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the insurrection. Wherever possible, please try to clean up after yourselves. Don't forget to visit the souvenir shop on the way out. And feel free to join us on the outdoor terrace for Nancy Pelosi's Insurrection Soiree. Grab yourself a light refreshment and enjoy the music of our very own fancy dress competition winner.
Fucking epic,
dude. So good. So again, it's
so
one thing if
good.
Elon shares that, it's another that he replied to Chuck Schumer with it and says, do you want me to delete this, when he's whining about it? So to answer the question, I mean, it's obviously a net positive for sure. It's not been perfect. And I still don't know ultimately if Elon is someone that you can put all of your trust in per se, but clearly, I mean, I got my Twitter account back because of Elon. So I lost my Twitter account for 1.5 years because of Naughty Dog. Naughty Dog, over the whole striking people down over The Last of Us Part 2. They struck my YouTube channel. They struck my friends' YouTube channels.
What'd you say about Abby? What'd you say?
I posted.
What'd you do?
Let me show you exactly.
Yeah. How did you? Show me where you touched. Show me where you touched me on the. I'm going to
show you.
Show me. Yeah.
I'm going to show you. Hang on. What I.
By the way, while you're pulling that up, I'll catch the super chat. Okay. Jex Referee says, prequel fan here. I survived the Trave shamery that was Kenobi. HBD, Jeremy, but I can't help it. Troll Tide!
Hey, roll tide, roll tide. Thank you, though. Thank you. Prequel fans for life.
Well, so I gotta say go Gator. So, you know, I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
I see a lot of people in chat already know what I'm about to share. So I shared this meme. This is before the game came out. There was a meme. So you remember the picture of Abby after she killed Joel. She's standing there with the golf club and she's looking, you know, super buff and everything. So I posted this meme, and all it was, I just posted the meme and I just said, fuck Naughty Dog. That's all I said. This is the meme that I shared right here.
Right here.
And it's a Scott Steiner, big Abby pump as you hook up, holla if you hear me. So I so I shared this. And it got taken down. You know, the whole thing where they used to take, if they've taken down, you get locked out of your account. You have to hit OK to agree. And then,
you have to agree you violated their policy, which is pretty much saying you were wrong, even though you weren't, you were wrong.
So I kept getting mad. So I kept agreeing that I did it just so I could get back in and repost it. And I kept, and so I'd repost it every time. Fuck Naughty Dog. Yep, they took it down. You've been locked out. You got to agree. Agree. Boom. Post it again. Fuck Naughty Dog. I think I did it like 25 times. And then they finally just mass banned my account because I just would not stop saying fuck Naughty Dog. And then it was Musso Entertainment or something, Musso Legal or some bullshit. And so I made video after video. I grifted it. I didn't have an account for 1.5 years. I appealed it multiple times. And then the day Elon, like the day that it actually happened, I think it might have been the sync day, the day he brought the sync in. I can't remember. It was interesting because Jay, Drunk 3PO, called me and he told me, he said, dude, I appealed my account and I got it back after like 6 months or whatever. He had the copyright thing. So I was like, well, I'm going to try it. And I hit the appeal again. And then like a few hours later, boom, my account. I'm like, holy shit, like everything changed. So it's been a net positive for sure. It's definitely been a net positive.
I think that over the time, like Elon has made it better. And even right now, he made the comment. This is actually a recent one right here from March 7th. Accounts engaged in repeated egregious weaponization of DMCA on Twitter or encouraging weaponization of DCMA will receive temporary suspensions. That said, reasonable media takedown requests are, of course, appropriate and will be supported. I think this is a good move. This is an absolutely good move for those that repeatedly want to use DCMA to silence their critics. I think this is something other platforms should employ as well. If you are repeatedly submitting these DCMA requests and they come back and they're all fair use, they're all things that you should have done your due diligence on, you should say, hey, there's going to be repercussions against you for now submitting a false DMCA, which is what the process is supposed to be in the first place.
Yes. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, like Naughty Dog and Musso should have faced severe penalties for what they did to so many of us over The Last of Us Part 2, because we all won our appeals, but those appeals lasted, the process lasted 30 days. So we lost 30 days of ad revenue. We lost 30 days of live streaming. We had very stressful because, I mean, Ryan Kendall had two strikes, and he kept posting because he's like, fuck you, I'm going to keep posting. And he won both of them, but he had to deal with that stress of like, I may lose my channel tomorrow.
Now, you guys had actually, like, I'm thinking about it as a lawsuit terms, there's actual damages. I talked about them with Eliza Blue. I'm like, You guys are content creators that sell stuff. And if you look at your amount of traffic from Twitter and how much your earnings have gone down or views have gone down, you can actually articulate damages. You actually can file a claim over this. This is possible. Now, maybe it's not the smartest thing to do right away. It's not the most cost efficient, but I'm saying like this is getting to the point where people are going to have real damages. And one day they're going to hit somebody who has real damages. And that's that court case that goes in, that takes it through, and that changes this fucking law and changes these policies. Because as soon as there's a case on the books, these cucked corporations will change their policies. We just have to actually get it through so they stop doing this bullshit across the board. All social media companies, every single one.
Absolutely. Yep.
So let me talk about a little bit of Twitter right now, because people have been sending me this story, and this is one that I think it's going to be some good conversation for us. So right now we have a new lawsuit between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and one of her tweeters. Now last year, or actually 2 years ago, she did settle a lawsuit for blocking a critic on Twitter. So she blocked a Brooklyn assemblyman about a year or two ago. And she actually had to let them back on. There was a ruling that she had to let them back on. Well, now we got our favorite big booty Latina lover. We got Mr. Alex Stein. And in case you guys haven't seen the video, this is what he is.
See, my favorite big booty Latina. I love you, AOC. You're my favorite. She wants to kill babies, but she's still beautiful. You look very beautiful in that dress. You look very sexy. Look at that booty on AOC. That's my favorite big booty Latina.
Look at that. She's in that thing. It's fantastic. So anyways, so this is what he was allegedly banned over, that video itself, right? And so he was blocked, and he's now suing AOC. Now remember, who also got sued over blocking people?
Trump.
Jeremy, you remember?
Trump.
Papa T, baby. And Trump ended up losing that lawsuit originally. Now, it was vacated after he left his office as president. So when he's no longer president, he no longer had a public duty, no longer had a public office. Therefore, the transparency requirements. In Florida, we got the sunshine laws. You're a Floridian. I grew up in Florida, lived in Florida a long time. Our sunshine laws in Florida are, by the way, the strongest, which is why we have Florida man stories, if you don't know. Because all of our criminal records are completely public, unlike other states. So that's why the Florida man exists.
And and I do think it's a good rule to have politicians that work for the people, that they should not be allowed to block them on social media. 100%. I back that from a political standpoint. Hey, politicians work for us. You work for us, motherfuckers. And so I just think it's funny that they weaponize this against Trump, because they had no problem when it was Trump, but now suddenly those that preach the loudest have the most to hide. So
yep. And let me ask you this question though, because here's the leftist defense. So I read their defense against this, because they're going to use this in court, and they're going to say, okay, two things. Number one, Alex Stein is not in AOC's district, right? Alex Stein is over in Texas. He's not in New York. So does AOC have a duty as a politician to somebody she doesn't represent? Does she have a duty to talk to them? Because in her previous lawsuit, the person was in her district. They were in Brooklyn. They were within her coverage, her district. So it was, check mark. That's the representative. You need to be able to speak to your representative. That's number one. Number two is that with the Brooklyn assemblyman, she blocked him over what he tweeted. Here, she's blocking him over what he did in person. So do you think those distinctions make a difference?
I think that they could. And I mean, look, I love Alex Stein. He obviously brings a lot of, he knows what he's doing. You know what I mean? I love him. That's my boy. After he did the whole Portnoy stunt, he called me, and I told him the only thing I was upset about is you weren't wearing a Geeks and Gamers hat. So I love this guy.
And the Crenshaw one, did you see the Crenshaw one?
Oh, yes, I did. Holy crap. We talked to him.
Man.
Like, every time Alex pulls one of these off, he usually calls me Orion. It's so funny. But I mean, yeah, I do think that, if I'm being honest, like, I hate AOC. I can't stand her. I think she's trash. But I do think that there's probably, and again, as a complete normie when it comes to the law, you're the expert here. But like, I think that there's probably some justifications that her legal team can probably justify her doing this, because of the personal stuff of him going up there and taunting her or harassing her is what the terms they're probably going to use. So I probably feel like there's probably some legalities that they can work in her favor. Is that sound about right to you?
So yeah, no, it's on the right track. Yeah, for sure. If they're able to prove I think that this is the one way they could slip it in. If they can prove he committed a crime by doing that to AOC, that was some form of criminal activity, and he's convicted of that, then okay, I can see legally setting the precedent there. But otherwise, if it's not criminal behavior, if his behavior was not criminal, then I don't think that there's no that's just free speech. Right.
And I don't see any scenario where there's going to be any criminal activity or anything like that. So,
by the way, that would be a W for Alex Stein and an L for AOC if she wants to press criminal charges against him.
He's so good at it, dude. He's so good at this, and so that's good to know. So without that, they really don't have a leg to stand on, even with the physical, or not the physical, but the personal confrontation.
Twitter is just yelling in the town square, but online. Right, that's my perception here. It's just shouting at somebody in the town square. They can choose to mute you, ignore you, wear headphones, keep walking. Right, that's the whole thing. Right, you can just ignore somebody. Yeah, there's free speech, but I can ignore you. I can just keep going about my merry way. That's exactly what she could have done there. She had the option. Her aide tried to redirect her. She went in there and decided to give the peace up selfie because she's an attention-seeking, clout-chasing goblin. But that being said. No, I'm all over that. So yeah, I think we have the same take on that.
Nice.
Before we transition, let me catch this. Brandon, welcome back as a member. Appreciate you, buddy, and everything you do for the anime community. And then saying right here, amigo, isekai is life. Anime is great. Rylos are weird. F Naughty Dog. Love Star Wars. Duck Fisney. I had to be very careful. I'll say it, guys. I've worked on the other side of the table as those fuckers. Fuck Disney. I'll just straight up say that. They are cancer on everyone and everything. Orange Band 2024, not even a question. Unbreaded. It's packing a lot in there, Brandon, but I can't say I disagree with anything you've said there individually. All right, so obviously we got to Elon, but now I want to go over to, we've kind of handled the politics side of this. Now I want to kind of transition into pop culture. So, because let me... How do you see the connection there? Like the direct link between pop culture, particularly movies and media and politics, and then also in my realm, even the law, right? Where do you see that? How do you see that?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, we're not dealing with creatives anymore in the entertainment industry. We're dealing with activists. And that's who is working on most of these properties now in these projects, is that we've went from hiring talented, qualified people to hiring activists that fit the social justice checkmark boxes. And we see that with whether that's Lucasfilm, whether that's Marvel, a lot of these studios, they're more interested in diversity check marks than actually just giving good content. We're at a point in time where when Black Panther releases, that is marketed in a lot of ways. And it's, I know they haven't literally said these words, but the perception is that this is the first movie that's ever had Black people in a comic book movie, leading it. And it's like, anybody heard of Wesley Snipes? Anybody heard of, Spawn? Anybody heard of Meteor Man? Anybody heard of Blank Man? No. And of course, to this day, Blade is still one of the greatest comic book films ever made, but it doesn't even get mentioned.
Blade is amazing.
Yes, it's amazing. So,
here's the problem. Wesley Snipes didn't agree with paying those taxes. That's the problem.
Yes. You know what? I don't get Wesley Snipes shouldn't have to pay anything after Passenger 57 and Blade. Fuck that. I'll pay his fucking taxes for him. He deserves it. He's a fucking legend.
Jeremy has made a covenant to play Wesley Snipes taxes. Put it down in writing.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
He is now paying
Wesley deserves it
for the rest of life.
He deserves it.
On Geeks and Gamers payroll. He's
Passenger 57. He deserves it. Have you seen Pasture 57? Wait a minute. Hang on. I retract my previous statement. He did make Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar, the trans movie with those other guys. So I got to take it back, Wesley.
No, you cannot take it back. We got promissory estoppel. We got a contract. We have a solid contract. Signed. Just like we have a solid, even an unsigned contract is binding. And that's something that Karen McCarthy is finding out with Lucasfilm. Ain't that a fucking transition, Jeremy? That's how professional does it.
Good.
This is how professional streamer does it. This is how the game is done, baby.
That was pretty good. I got to give you credit. That was not Ricada good, but it was pretty good. So
listen. Not everybody has enough whiskey and Baldos to make it on the internet. But I do what I can over here in Korea. I'm a man of meager means, But this one is massive. I mean, not only because They fucked over a prominent woman in Hollywood. How dare you? But because Karen McCarthy was scheduled to go on massive Apple productions, she was being courted by both. She had in writing contractual terms, in order to go on this, of a significant salary per week, massive per diems, massive housing allowance. There's a tax allowance, personal driver, car, computer, everything she would need to set up. She literally was asked on Friday PM, to fly to London by Monday morning to start work on Monday morning in London. So she really has 24 hours to decide, because she's got to fit in all of Sunday on a plane. There's the time difference. So she's asked on Friday, goes to work on Monday. She doesn't sign the contract. And this is something people don't know, but contracts, I know you like that piece of paper. I know you think it has to be signed. It doesn't. If you do the contract, or you do the thing, you perform it, that is acceptance of the contract. Really? Interesting. Yes.
I'm learning a lot here.
Acceptance of the contract under both, the American system, and even from what I understand, I'm not a British lawyer, but I understand the British system is very similar. But we come from similar judicial traditions, right? Only weird French people in Louisiana, through that legacy, use other systems, the kind of Napoleonic code. But in our legal system, in agreement, can be doing it. She did it, and after 2 weeks, she was shit canned, and they tried to pay her off with $5,000. Are you fucking kidding me? This woman was probably making 6 figures a week on this production.
So much for the respect women, or the force is female, right? And this is my problem with any type of narrative that just singles out a race or a gender or a sexual orientation. You start doing that, you are setting yourself up for a massive, massive problem. I hate when you hear the Black Lives Matter, or believe all women, or, gay rights matter. And it's like, okay, well, what about a gay person that votes for Donald Trump? Oh, suddenly you hate them. You know what I mean? So it's like, so it's not really about, pro-gay rights, or it's not about black people if they vote differently. So anytime I hear anybody say stuff like that, so Lucasfilm is constantly pushing this, pro-women message bullshit, and how we need more female representation. And Ryan Johnson, who's basically a female at this point anyway, but Ryan Johnson took a
hold on, is he ready to set the powerlifting record now that they've opened it up to trans women?
Yeah. Well, Zuby is still got. Didn't Zuby have the record? Didn't he
has the
identify as a
record in the
female?
UK.
Yeah.
He has the record in the UK.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he could come over to America, switch his citizenship, become a dual citizen, and break every single record. But there'll be an American Zuby. I'm waiting for him.
Hell yeah. But yeah, so Ryan Johnson, back before, this is years ago, but he took the agreement to have a trilogy with Star Wars, and then he did an interview. And in the interview, he said, Star Wars needs less white dudes directing Star Wars. It's like, you just took a trilogy. You just took 3 to then say we need less white dudes. You don't believe what you're saying. So Lucasfilm is constantly pushing this narrative, and you pandered around people that buy into that garbage narrative. Now you have a woman that's suing you for wrongful termination. Is that the exact, was it wrongful termination?
So there's four claims: breach of contract, breach of covenant of good faith, promissory estoppel, and failure to pay wages. So they are fucked. It like literally, if no matter what, whether it's considered a contract or not, even if under this weird California law, it's then considered not, the judge is like, it's still, they breached their duty, right, to negotiate in good faith, because they were negotiating in bad faith, right? They knew they were going to shit can him, right? They knew that they could shit can him. They promised him way too much money. That was breached. Also, they made promises that they relied on, that literally she flew out there on those promises, and they fucked her. This is literally going to have to settle, because there's no way that Lucasfilm wins this case.
Ooh, I'm happy about this. I'm gonna have to actually do a little more video, do a little in-depth video on it for Geeks and Gamers for this, because I love this.
Happy to help out if you need me anytime.
Let's do it, bro.
Anytime.
Let's get you on Tuesday night's main event. You want to come on this week?
Yeah, I'll come. Yeah, Tuesday's fine. Yeah.
Okay. We've been crushing it, man. Our numbers have been bumping up. So maybe, So I let me make sure. So we're moving it up an hour this week. So we normally start at 9 Eastern, but we're going to do it 8 Eastern.
AM or
works
PM?
for you? PM.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, fuck
So
yeah,
yeah,
that's great.
So yeah,
That's great.
Okay. You want to do it this Thursday or this
Let's
Tuesday?
do it. We're doing it.
Boom.
Yes.
All right.
We're doing it live.
Book
We
it.
did it live. That's what we just
Book
fucking do it live, guys. Who does
That's
it? Who
what's
does
up.
it live?
That's
Yeah.
right. Doing it. All right. So Legal Mindset on Tuesday night's main event this week. Hell
This
yeah.
week.
Let's do it. All right. I'm happy now.
Yeah. Oh, let me get this one too. Gear for 50,000 Indonesian rupees. By the way, I fucking love foreign currencies. I'm over here in Korea where like 1,000 is $1, you know? So I love the massive foreign currencies.
Bro, whenever one comes, I call it. I'm like, I just call it 50,000. Oh, gear for $50,000. And I'll just read that because I don't know. I was like, I don't know this currency.
Yo, D-Day Cobra, I love your counter rant on Angry Joe's awful take. But should he deserve to go behind bars or get his account Twitter banned? Thank you. I don't actually know what the fuck went down with that. I know you had a video on it. Do you want to give a little elevator pitch on it?
Well, I'll answer the question first. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. He deserves nothing like this. This is just Twitter bullshit. So, Angry Joe is a OG YouTuber. He's got 3 million subs. He's been around. I've watched Angry Joe for as long as I can remember. Old school guy. And he kind of had some different tones at 2016 on, if you know what I mean. We all know that that date broke a lot of. And so the other day, the whole Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer came out, and they had a fat black April O'Neil.
Oh yeah, let me find her real quick. Okay,
so we had a fat black April, and I criticized it. Ryan Kennel criticized it. Eric July criticized it. Melanie Mack, criticized it. A bunch of people criticized it. And Angry Joe took some of the tweets from some of these creators, specifically Eric July, Gabe El Taib, who was one of the artists for Rippa on his Rippaverse comic. Melanie Mack was included in that, and a few other people. He screenshotted these tweets and he basically made implications. Yeah, there's Kennel's thumbnail. So Joe basically made implications that you're either a racist if you're complaining about this, or you're a pedo, basically. Made those insinuations. And so Rippa responded the way you would expect Rippa to respond. And I talked about this like much reminiscent. It was about 3 years ago when I was kind of took off on YouTube. Finally, I got like 20,000 subs, and another Star Wars YouTuber was like, did something that pissed me off, talked bad about me and stuff. And so I made a video, and I basically said, one of these days, me and you are going to come eye to eye at a convention. You're gonna have to face me. You're not gonna be hide behind your keyboard, your subs. We're gonna confront each other, and I'm going to ask you about this shit. I didn't threaten him or anything like that. I was like, but I'm gonna confront you, and I've done that. I actually, single person, I did confront them, and they ran from me. Anna, that Star Wars girl, can confront.
They view that as violence, by the way. That's the thing, Jeremy. These people, they're so weak-willed and such pussies that they view just discussion and debate as violence. They're like, you're threatening me. I'm not trying to have a conversation with you. I'm trying to confront you on your beliefs. That's literally what our country was founded on, is being able to exchange ideas, even when we're fighting about them verbally. As long as we're not physically fighting over it, it's fine, right? We should not be getting so emotional and so uncontrolled as to be physically fighting about it. But the left, the crazy SJWs, they've lost that narrative. They're just entirely ruled by their emotions. And that's actually why, to be completely honest, they end up in violence far, far, far more often than the other side of the panel. If you look at that J6 video and you compare that to, for example, Cop City in Atlanta and the riots there, if you haven't seen that one, where they're taking over the police training center, they're throwing fireworks, chasing out police, burning down bulldozers, burning their property.
Saw it.
Yeah,
I saw it, and it was...
compare and contrast. If that shit was a bunch of right wingers, the SEALs would have been sent in to take them out. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, it would be a nightmare. It would be a nightmare. So with this whole thing with Joe, Rippa made a response. Joe responded to Rippa, and then they kind of had her back and forth. I just, Rippa's my boy, so I'm gonna back him up. So I had a couple of memes and just roasting on Joe, and Joe responded to me. And then he tagged me in Rippa, and I've got the tweet right here, and I'll pull it up and share it. But, so he tagged me and Rippa, and he asked a question. So I responded. So he says, "Of any of you genuinely want to help me understand why April O'Neil can't be black in her 7th iteration? D-Day Cobra, Eric July. Just tell me why straight up, so we all understand, instead of taking it personal when I call out weirdos who throw fits when this happened." So I gave a pretty detailed response, and I said it's something we have covered on our as individuals many times on our channels and giving our perspectives. It's not as simple as April can't be black. We have seen a consistent effort to tokenize established white characters by changing their race, gender, sexual orientation in the name of diversity and representation in Hollywood. It's not only disrespectful to the already established characters, it's also disrespectful to the race, gender of the people who claim they want it represented. Stop thinking black people need a white person's hand-me-down character.
Ooh, that right there. That right there, I think is so good. Saying they need to, that is so mwah, mwah.
Yep.
That is quintessential, because right there, by the way, is what they blame. They say, look, if the white man just left, for example, Africa alone, it would be all right. We don't need the white man's hand-me-downs. It's like, well, you're literally asking it for it right now. You're asking for the leftovers.
Absolutely.
Wow,
so I said, stop thinking black people need a white person's hand-me-down character. Give black people or all non-white people respectable characters and build them from the ground up, like ISOM. It takes time and hard work. Establishing something takes time. For some reason, Hollywood doesn't seem to think that black people deserve their own characters. It's fucking bullshit. Blade is one of the greatest comic book films ever made, and it's widely ignored these days, meaning it's widely ignored by the masses of like Hollywood and the media. So this is a lot deeper than character can't be black. Nobody thinks that at all. As much as you and I disagree on a lot of things, at least I'll give you credit for asking questions. Now, the latest
and he did it in a fairly respectful, at least in that tweet, that singular tweet. I don't know this fucking guy. I don't know what he is. That tweet was actually respectful, right? And your response was actually thoughtful and respectful.
Yes. And right now, the current update here, and I updated this on CobraCast last night, is that Joey reached out to me. He's reached out to me privately, and we have spoken. Very good conversation. I will not be talking about the details of that conversation at this point in time, because it's good, and we're trying to work on it. He's trying to understand my perspective. I'm willing to have any conversation with him, so I'm not memeing on him right now. I'm not going to roast him. We're talking in private, and look, Joe is a fucking YouTube legend. He just is. Doesn't change the fact that I think he's been wrong on a lot of points since 2016, and it's kind of made it hard to watch him. But when you come at me respectfully, privately, and we hash things out privately, that is you will never get a different, you'll never get anything but respect from me when you handle it like that. So, and he told me point blank, he's like, man, I'm shocked at how cool you're being. And the DM's like, hey bro, you're coming at me cool, I'm coming back cool.
Because you have this image, you have this image of people, and you want to paint them and demonize them and hate them, but we're not those. I mean, as much as they want to paint us as these contemptible, misogynist, bigot, horrible, violent people, that's just not the reality. If anybody who's been to a convention and met us, it's furthest from the truth. It could not be further from the truth than what happened there. So no, I think that's perfect, and frankly, that's what I try to push people on. Let's work issue by issue, because I think if we just really narrow down these issues, we're probably more in agreement. Most people are more in agreement than disagreement about this. We probably can come to an agreement on this if people are willing to actually have the conversation and not just be emotional and spurg out about it. So congrats to you guys. By the way, also another big thing, thank you for not doxing the DMs, because that's something that's been going on a lot lately with people is showing the DMs, doxing the DMs. And I think having that respect for that confidentiality and that person-to-person relationship is very important.
100%. And so I try to look, I mean, I've talked about this. I've talked to a lot of bigger YouTubers, millions and millions of subs. And I talk to them consistently. A lot of them don't want and again, I think it's the wrong approach, but I'm not here to make the determination. But I say I think it goes a lot further if you just say to the fucking world what you say to me. But hey, some people don't want, they're like, hey, please don't tell people I agree with you, or I like this, or I like that. And hey, okay, I'm not gonna put you on blast like that. So there's a lot of people out there, but I will always respect a private conversation as long as you respect the private conversation. 100%.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Andrew sends me dick pics. I don't like him, but hey, he does it.
Hey, listen. I just want to show you how much it looks like a Goomba. We'll talk about Super Mario in a bit. But
that was good.
No,
nice. You're good at the segue.
I'm always good at the segue, but I'm also good at fluffing my members here, because I am the master of the grift. You think CobraCast has got a good grift? You haven't been in the mindset. By the way, if you guys aren't members of the Base Legal Mindset, make sure to sign up for the membership here. Or even better yet, if you want to be really degenerate, you want to get into really dirty stuff, go over to legalmindset.locals.com. That's where you find fine things and fine memes just like this one. This is just exactly the type of thing you're going to see here on Locals, on legalmindset.locals.com. memes.locals.com.
I told somebody, I was like, some hater of mine made a meme or something. I'm like, bro, the Legion of Memers on Friday Night Tights, I have fucked every member of Friday Night Tights, and they've fucked me, based on memes. Do you think we get upset over memes? You can't hurt us over memes. Come on, man.
We're gonna show them. Like, I'm gonna laugh at them. That's the difference. We can laugh at ourselves, and they have no fucking sense of humor.
None,
right?
none
Zero.
None at all. Memes are violence. Memes are violence. Good Lord.
Jeddah for 50, appreciate you, says, my favorites in one place. Snake Pit weaves its way into the mindset. Both your perspectives and videos are fun highlights in my day, and now you're here in one place. Keep doing what you're doing. You're appreciated. No, really, Jenna, we appreciate y'all. We can't do it without y'all. I mean, if you weren't watching, we wouldn't do this for as long as we do. So, really appreciate all of y'all.
Absolutely.
Galloway Raider says, who flung done? Not me. Not me.
Not today, anyway.
Another day, maybe.
Another day.
Chris Kelly for £2, which, what is that, worth 50 cents now? Fuck you, Jeremy, from the UK Snake Pit. No, seriously, I love my people in the UK, in the Canada, out there. I think you should get out and hey, come visit Asia. And if you're interested, check out my new channel, Go East Gentlemen. Great channel on visiting Asia. But yeah, speaking of which, and speaking of visiting Asia, I actually had a chance to go to the Super Mario World in Japan, in the Osaka Universal Studios, which was actually fantastic. So I was really excited when I saw the trailer for the Super Mario Brothers movie. But I want to end on a good note, because we're going to move into a wrap up here, and just say, what are they doing here that is right? Like, what is Universal doing? What is this movie doing specifically that is right, where we've seen Star Wars consistently fuck up? Like, Lucasfilm cannot do anything right. What is it? What's the magic of Super Mario Brothers that's really hitting here?
So Nintendo is the best thing about Nintendo is also the worst thing about Nintendo. And it's that they have literally no self-awareness. They do what they want to do. So they don't think about the optics, but that's, again, so they make a lot of bonehead decisions by copyright claiming videos and gameplay. There was a long time where Nintendo would claim actual video gameplay off YouTube, someone playing their fucking game, and you're like, what are you doing? But they're also not going to listen to blue-haired weirdos on Twitter. They're just doing their own thing. And that's kind of a Japanese thing anyway, you know what I mean? Like anime and all that. Like anime is just so. I
will tell you, Jeremy, I was just there speaking to some friends who are Japanese, people who are native. They don't give a fuck about our woke shit.
They don't care. Yes. And
they don't.
Nintendo has been a prominent fixture in my life since the mid 80s when I got a Nintendo Entertainment System, and they have always stayed true to the core of what they've always been. They just had, like Mario's not going to be transitioning. You know what I mean? Like Peach ain't going to have a dick. It's just not going to happen. So with this Mario movie, when it first was announced, as a big Nintendo fan and a big Mario fan, I just thought, like, what kind of story can you tell with a Mario movie? This is weird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how this works. And then Chris Pratt got cast, and I love Chris Pratt, but Chris Pratt as Mario, like, none of it sounded like it would be very entertaining. Then we got the first kind of glimpses of it, and I'm like, okay, this looks really good. This looks really good. And then we got the first full trailer, and it was fantastic. I did criticize a bit of it with the Peach. There's a point with Peach where she looked like Bo Peep from Toy Story 4, and I kind of criticized that. I went super mega viral on Twitter because some of my haters clip that out, and they're like, oh, look, he's intimidated by women again. And I'm like, no, I'm just saying, like,
women. Jeremy is intimidated by strong women.
I'm like, I'm just concerned based on current Hollywood, you know what I mean? But it's just a concern, but it didn't hurt my anticipation for it. So if you look at the trailers for the Mario movie, they are incorporating specific things that Mario fans and Nintendo fans are going to fully appreciate, while also telling a good story. At least that's what it appears, with bringing more like development to lesser characters in it, with whether it's, like the Koopas or, with Toad in there, obviously Luigi, these are main fixtures thing, but you have Bowser, you have the Penguin. So it's just like, it looks like right now with Nintendo, what they're doing, what this seems to be doing, Nintendo is possibly going to give families a wholesome, iconic character that they can take their children to over and over again that's going to entertain them. It feels like it could be Pixar back in the day with Toy Story and Monsters Inc. That's what this feels like. And it's because Nintendo kind of stays above that. Now, the concern is it is a Hollywood production with Illuminations. And I can't see Nintendo allowing any mega wokeness to come into it. I just can't. The trailer looks so good. If you play it, they're going to claim it, by the way.
Yeah, no. That's why I only have it on the freeze frame of Bowser's Castle. I will definitely not do it. I will definitely not have it. But I mean, just like if you scroll through this, the graphics, look at the fucking quality on this. This is not a budget production. And it's got all the references that are there, all like the member berries and like the little Easter eggs. It's gonna be great. It's doing it the right way, I think, from the trailer. Now I'll have to see the final production, but if it's good, I'm gonna maybe see it multiple times. I see nowadays, if I see a good movie, there's so few. I end up seeing them multiple times. I saw Maverick 3 times.
Yes,
Top Gun Maverick 3 times because it's that good.
Yep. They're few and far between. There's some good shows out there and there's some good movies. There's just a lot more bad stuff right now. Like I've talked about like Tulsa King, I think is fantastic. I got into it with Jack Posobiec over that on Twitter and ratioed him because he was being a clown on it.
He's out of his league on that. That's not
100%.
That's not his area.
100%. Yellowstone is really good.
By the way, D-Day, this is my thing is that I end up trusting people on what they're good at, right? Like if like Gary is telling me, like if Gary is talking about Lord of the Rings, I listen to fucking Gary because like that's his thing, right? That's his jam. But if Gary is trying to tell me how to like, I don't know, bench press 400, I'm like, listen, Gary, like you're kind of, you know what I mean? Like you kind of got to
We've actually got something with Gary on that where like when Gary talks about pineapple pizza being good, he like you don't listen to this man over pizza. So you just like I know like so. And he likes pineapple pizza. So he's also a big Bon Jovi fan. He loves Bon Jovi. He does. He hates Bon Jovi so bad. I just like the rest of it. He hates Bon Jovi. I don't hate Bon Jovi. They're fine. Gary passionately hates Bon Jovi. Like it's so funny. But yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, so everybody's got their lane.
Yeah. Let me get here. It's the super chats. Market Reality said, all y'all Florida boys unite. Jeremy, congratulations on the new CobraCast and crushing it right out the gate. Awesome, man. I love to see people succeed. It's rising tide. Everybody doing better. Rises all boats.
Yes.
Some YouTube content creators, this is my big advice. Market Reality, I know you're out there. Is don't view it as competition. View it as market partners, people you can collaborate and grow with, build each other, pump each other. As they grow, you have more opportunity to grow, right? And work together. Do not view it as competition. We are all in this together. Yes. Diana Mitchum says, to anger a conservative, lie to him. To anger a liberal, tell them the truth. Love you guys. So fucking true though. This is 100% true. It is facts versus feelings. That's the difference. That's the difference. True. 100%. Joseph Brown says, hi, all hail Cobra. And Rapid says, where's Corn Pop? Drew would love it.
Bro, Corn Pop basically overtook Tuesday night's main event with the super chats. He just kept sending $1.99 super chats. A guy named Corn Pop.
I know that guy.
Holy shit. I think he was in Ricada's stream at the same time as what our chat was saying. And it just took over Tuesday night's main event.
I set a limit. If they're gonna interrupt, right? Especially with like Nick, when Nick's on, I'm like, all right, it's gotta be $20 to interrupt Nick, like to interrupt the flow here. Like you're one because you're sending 500, $199. We can't have a real conversation, which is what I like to have. I like to keep it flowing, not break it up.
Absolutely.
Magician Sapphire, you are banned for saying pineapple pizza is god tier.
If you didn't say that, I was leaving the show. I'm
timing you out right now. You are banned. You are silenced. That's it. You're gone. And last one here. This is actually from a member who's been around for a while, so I'll ask it. Nancy says, Legal Mindset, ask him his thoughts on Zelda Tears of the Kingdom next.
Tears of the Kingdom's coming very soon. It's going to be the sequel to Breath of the Wild, one of the greatest video games ever made. The hype is going to be almost it's going to be so big that I don't know if Nintendo can actually live up to the hype, but Tears of the Kingdom is going to be special. It will be Game of the Year more than likely. Can it surpass or at least meet these expectations? It's Nintendo. They tend to always do it. So I'm looking forward to it. Tears of the Kingdom is going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Awesome. A couple from the alt tech ones. Snake Pit meets Mindset. So yeah, that's awesome. Appreciate you over there. And then I had some behind the house with the members chats, which I can't show, unfortunately.
It's so annoying with that.
They got to fix that shit. They really got to fix that shit.
Yes.
Vibe AI says, I'll take the free milestone chat. Yo, bro, what's up? What's up, Vibe AI? Check out good lo-fi beats with Vibe AI. And then we also had Tank Rat earlier who said, I supported Trump because we knew what we were getting. And yes, he did things I didn't agree with, like Fauci and anti-vaping. I think he got us out of Syria and didn't attack Iran over a drone. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. If we were with Barack, I think we could have gone to war with Iraq over something as minor as a drone, or got us really entrenched in a ground war in Syria. I mean, that's something that could have happened. Certainly, we're seeing almost the ground war that's happening over there in Ukraine. Real close to that. Anyways, guys. Oh, I get this $10 chat here. Torgo says, unbreaded. Appreciate you. Oh, and the last one here, Brandon says, Illumination is now where Pixar was 15 years ago. I cannot wait to go see it in the cinema. Must watch Handyman Saito in Another World. Worth it.
Noted. Yeah, I mean, look, that Mario movie is going to be huge, so it's got to make $1 billion, or I got to eat pineapple and pizza. So it's got to, because that's my guarantee. So
you've put that down there. You've thrown down the pineapple gauntlet.
I didn't fucking do it. Gary's the one that came up with this bullshit. So now I'm definitely pulling for the movie to make $1 billion.
Got to make $1 billion. I think it'll do it. It'll definitely do it. I mean, I'll see it twice. I'll put in my Korean won over here.
I appreciate that.
For that.
Appreciate that.
Domestic box office numbers. Hey, Jeremy, just stopping by to say hi.
Hey, thank you, Dean H.
If you want to say hi to Jeremy, you go over to his channel. Make sure you leave him a like and subscribe. He's at a pity 118. I know some of you weren't subscribed to him before today, but you should be now. I ding the bell. You should go over there and ding the fucking bell. Does great content, guys. Great takes. Totally agree with him. Glad to have him on. Seriously, go there and throw him a like. And by the way, guys, I also have my new channel. I know some of you said you're interested in going to Japan, moving over here. Check out my new channel, Go East Gentlemen. Just started it last week. 637 subs. So really glad to have that. All about moving to Asia or visiting Asia. If you want to come over for cherry blossoms or whatever, going to have some good videos coming over for that type of content as well. So that being said, guys, appreciate it. And I'm looking forward to the Tuesday night main event.
You're going to be there. I'm going to make it happen. So you guys have to make sure you're tuned in. That'll be on Geeks and Gamers on Tuesday night. I believe the new start time is 8 p.m. Eastern, I think. Because that show's been running so late. And then we have our political show the following day on Wednesday, me and Ryan. So we were like, man, the show's usually running until 1, 2 in the morning sometimes. So looking forward to that. It's going to be great to have you on. And thank you for having me on your channel, man. It's been a blast. So can't wait.
Dude,
to do it again.
We got it. No, and I'm happy to do it again, and happy to do it with anybody who's on your team and who's riding the same path that we're riding of fighting the algorithm, of fighting them social media bullshit, and just speaking facts and truth. Until next time, guys.